Who's gonna be happy about the flail snail?
Ah, that's my foot.
Haven.
That's my foot. That's my foot.
Yeah, this is definitely a Haven kind of thing. I wouldn't say it's a Haven encounter because it's definitely not a Haven encounter.
But it's a
She
Haven
would
creature.
definitely a Haven creature. She would not want to kill this thing.
Nope. Especially when she finds out it has babies.
I mean, it does make sense. Anyways, you guys are standing outside a large cluster of caves along a cliffside full of large clusters of caves. What would you like to do?
We
Stealth.
should have researched. We should have researched what kind of stuff it likes and see if there was something we could use for bait.
Gosh. Kind of wish. I almost feel like if I had a bat. Well, no, a bat is still extended range. Yeah. Are we? Are we?
We could
I'm assuming we're standing
exploring to see
outside.
which of these have the freshest trail.
Are there visible trails on the ground, or did I miss that?
So there was
The area
none.
that you guys are near at the moment has a section of dirt and sand that has been dug up
Right.
and then laid flat again.
Um.
You can make of that what you will. You have not searched around any of the other caves to see if there are any actual trails.
mm,
See trails from some of the caves when he had Najila do her first flyby, right? That was how we figured that they're probably coming in and out of those caves.
Yeah.
Right.
Gosh, how many caves? How many like cave openings are we like within, like from this spot? Like,
From the spot you're at right now,
yeah.
probably like a total of 6 or 7. Some of them are out of reach.
Um.
Probably viable for what you're looking for. Probably like 2 of them could be possible. One of them has the dug up earth.
Well, we have this one, which clearly had a trail at one point. Should we follow that one into the cave and see how far down that goes?
It's an idea. I don't really have much experience tracking.
Rin has
Creature.
stealthed and gone into a cave.
Which cave has Rin gone into?
Any of them.
Roll me a d8.
D8. Come here, my pretty. 7. How fit?
Okay. You guys look around and Rin is suddenly gone.
Oh, we could just wait for Rin to chase one out to us.
I suppose. So should we just wait here then?
I mean, how far apart are these caves?
They kind of come in clusters, but the ones that you're looking at right now, probably the biggest space between 2 of them is like under 20 feet.
Okay.
Okay.
Headset doesn't go that far.
So I'm going to approach the nearest cave, and is it a pretty straight cave, or does it start twisting and turning fairly quickly?
The one that you approach first is one of the smaller ones, and looking inside, it goes relatively straight for a little while before curving off.
Which one do you think that he went into?
How far? Sorry, did not mean to cut you off. What was that?
I asked, which one do you think he went into?
Whichever one caught his interest first, which could be any of them. see if I can see anything here, and I'll just kind of check each of the caves and just see how far down I can see them before they start to twist and turn.
It varies between some of them. A couple of them actually very quickly and obviously lead into each other. The ones you can see, the ones on the ground, it varies between like some of them are like 10 feet in, some of them are like 20 feet in before it curves off.
Mm-hmm. I'll kind of relay all of this to Darian and Zephyr as I go.
Shakur, Darian reaches up and like with the middle section of like the outside of his finger, like between the knuckles, starts rubbing Najila's chin. Dear, would you fly down one of the tunnels and see how far you can see?
Right.
And then Najila and then starts flying down the nearest tunnel or cave closest to us.
Right.
And then Darian's gonna see as far as he can see down there, which I believe is 100 feet.
It's a good. It's definitely more than any of the straight sections in this area are. The cave twists and turns quite a lot, opening into relatively large areas and then getting a lot smaller again. Best you can tell, this was probably... Actually, no. They're a maze, and as you have Najila begin to come back, you find that it's as hard finding your way out as it is finding your way in. There are different tunnels that seem to have appeared out of nowhere from behind you. Different openings, and it's hard to tell which one you came through. But you didn't have her flying too terribly far, so it doesn't take but 5 minutes to figure out how to get her back out.
Well, yeah, that's fine. Mentally, what I was thinking was that if I started to get lost with her, I could just summon her to her pocket dimension and then resummon her.
That was definitely an option, but it didn't feel like you needed to.
Okay. And she didn't see anything in that particular area of tunnels?
Go ahead and roll me the perception check.
Okay.
We'll roll 2d20.
I rolled
While he's
2d20
rolling
and
that,
go ahead.
before we get your answer, keep your answer in your head.
I will.
Rin,
Yes.
glancing over the myriad of caves in front of you, you took a fancy to one of them because it looked like a ball sack.
Okay.
And you thought that was funny. So, quickly
It reminded
scaling...
you of Darian.
quickly scaling the cliff, because this is definitely one of the ones that's not on the ground. You entered in. Immediately, the sound quality changed to more echoey, and any modicum of noise that your foot made in your movement was echoed, seemingly amplified to your keen ears, but in all reality, no one could really hear outside of the cave. Pushing in for a little while, you find that the cave does twist and turn quite a bit, and at one point in time actually drops down into a different tunnel below you. Dropping down into that, it opens up a bit wider than the 5 foot of clearance that you had been used to, and this one's a bit more of a 10-foot clearance.
Let's see.
Go ahead. Ooh, excuse me. Go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Stealth. Oof, 12.
All right. What was Najila's perception check?
Not 20. 23.
Well, at one point in time, Najila does see a pale figure with horns. It is actually pretty startling.
When Rin stealths, he changes his color.
Right. I take it back. It's a navy blue to black with purple instead of gold.
What is white? What was white is now like a deep black, and what was gold is now a very deep purple.
I had to think about that for a second. It's like, does he go full negative? But that's not actually negative.
Close enough.
That said, Najila sees him. Definitely, I wouldn't I don't know. Would I recognize him?
Why would you not recognize me? Oh, never mind. I just remembered that I changed color.
You have seen him stealth before.
Oh, okay. Is she still within the 100 feet at that point of me? Oh no, how far down he made.
I'd say yes.
Okay. I'm going to have Najila go land on his shoulder.
So rude.
Now, point of order. I just want to point out the small fact that if someone's sneaking along and something heavy lands on their shoulder, that tends to startle them. That's point A. Point B, if someone is used to being in high pressure situations where being caught might mean being dead, and they are constantly holding knives and swords and other sharp things that they tend to lash out to, that they tend to lash out with when they're startled.
Roll me initiative against yourself.
Against me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm rolling as well.
What is happening?
Roll initiative and tell us what you get.
I am confused. 12. Point of question then. Would you not hear the flapping of the wings as it makes its way down the tunnel?
Owls are notoriously silent flyers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes them such good predators.
All right. What'd you roll?
14.
14?
Right? Yeah, 14.
Okay. I rolled a 16.
Oh no.
Your lizard brain does not overtake your normal brain.
Oh my god.
You catch yourself just before actually striking.
All right.
That's
so like my knife hand comes up like right at eye level until I stop myself.
Najila.
It's a close call.
Najila's
just,
oh shit.
No, just the quietest. I
most indignant little.
Yeah. Normally most people just have them do a wisdom save for that, and I gotta say that is much more entertaining.
So initiative check against yourself.
Kudos to the DM.
Listen, man, I am always flying by the seat of my pants.
No, that's
don't give me credit.
And sometimes the improv is better. So she lands on his shoulder kind of lightly, but he panics nonetheless. And then catching himself like right with the knife at like his eye level, pointing to the shoulder, pointing towards the owl on his shoulder. She just and then just like bobs her head back and forth a little bit.
You're Darian's bird. Idiot.
Which he's already told us is his eyes and ears.
No, I told you.
Yeah, he told you. I don't think I was supposed to be a partisan in that conversation.
You had already
Rin was
snuck out.
literally sneaking away during that conversation.
Oh, perfect.
He was long gone. Um, Liberty, not that she's privy to this knowledge since Rin is so far down. Um, Najila pecks at like the back of his head like once, which is definitely Darian's doing.
You
Uh,
really don't love your bird
Rin-
that much, do you?
Okay. Rin's head turns like an owl to look directly at her, which is completely unnatural and should not happen. And he says, "If you do that again, we're gonna find out what roast owl tastes like."
Oh,
And then she flaps her wings slightly, like regaining balance. um, are you still heading down your tunnel, or where are you off to?
I'm continuing on my way. I think I have no reason not to.
Okay, you are accompanied by Burb. um. Mm, she's gonna flutter her wings a little bit, and then she's gonna straight up pounce off your shoulder and just fly down the tunnel. At least until
Ahead of him or back?
ahead of him.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure what kind of distance I'm looking at here from my
You're
person.
you got like 15 feet before you're hitting the 100-foot mark.
Okay. So my understanding of the spell is that they can exist beyond that. I just can't communicate with them.
Yeah, you can't send commands to them after that.
Okay.
You can even still see through them after that. You just can't tell them to do anything.
Oh. Okay, that's interesting.
It's a weird thing that I
That's
am still a little confused by, but kind of love.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's interesting because the thing is about that spell, like the spell refers to casting it and then uses everything else as a description for the spell, and it's like you really could have like gone into like a whole page itself for that. That would have been much more useful.
Kind of love it.
Yeah, so Najila's current command then would be to fly a ways down the tunnel, and then whether or not she sees anything, just come back at least to within distance of the 100.
Okay. So Najila continues flying down the tunnel.
Yes.
It twists and turns for a little while longer until it opens up into a decent-sized opening, inside of which she would see, among other things, a small pool off to the side of still subterranean water, and two large rock-like structures that sparkle in the faintest of light.
Are either of us able to tell, like, is the sparkle just from like being wet, or
they seem to be they could be wet. They could have some sort of gloss on them of some sort, or they could be like crystal looking.
Okay, so I'll leave this up to you because I didn't specify it. Would Najila of her own volition investigate? I guess, I don't know.
She would not.
Okay.
She would, by my roll, she would assume that is a something, and begin flying back.
Okay. So
Rin, you're almost clotheslined by an owl again.
I restrain myself from throwing a dagger at it, but only barely.
Lizard Brain is getting agitated.
when Najila is able to see the glimmer in the opening There's a very audible, like, oh, like from Zarian, and
Yes.
when she starts flying, like as she's doing her end of the deal, um, there is a ways down, but there is a sort of opening. There is water, and there are two structures. I don't know what it is. They glisten, though. Uh, it's an opening. There might be a nest down there. We could. I think I could head back down that way. I think I know which way she went.
Alright then.
And then Darian's gonna head down with the three of us.
All right.
Along down that path. When
Since-
Go ahead.
Does he have Najila all the way back with him, or is Najila still with
she's
Rin?
still making her way back because that was spawned when she saw it. Since I can still see
Yeah.
her, I just can't command her.
As you guys begin to move into the cave, it's a few seconds in that Julia joins back up with you.
She is fast bird, but
She is fast bird. Also, it wasn't terribly far in. You would guess by the crow flies, you probably covered like 80 to 100 feet, maybe.
80 to 100 or 80 feet, like in total, or like beyond my
In
range?
total.
Oh, okay.
No, actually,
Because if it's beyond
because
my
I would have.
range-
In total, I apologize. In total, it would have been like 120 feet as the crow flies.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wonderful, dear. You did absolutely wonderful. And I give her another bit of food.
She eats it.
You may not want to startle Rin as much as you did.
It's under your
100% your fault. You.
That was your thing.
Oh no! I'm talking.
She
about,
definitely.
I'm talking about the flyby. After the first initial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, the first one was
Anyways.
absolutely me.
You guys begin making your way into the cave. Rin, it's about this time that you make it to the same larger open area that Najila turned around at. Looking around, you also see a relatively large opening, though not incredibly tall. There is a small pool off to your left of still water. An area far away on the other side of the room and a little ways off to your right that appears to be depressed in a way.
Mhm.
It appears to have been well loved.
Okay.
And two structures sitting in pretty close to the middle of the room, almost onion shaped, that glisten in the slightest of light.
I look around. Does anything look shell shaped?
Probably the only thing that might look shell shaped is the two glistening onion like things.
I throw a rock at one.
Those are clearly ogres.
Okay.
Ogres aren't onion shaped. Shut up. That's a
I-
bad joke.
I actually didn't get that joke for a half second, and I hate myself.
You hate yourself more for not getting it, or for eventually getting it.
Definitely the.
I would like you, Rin, to make a stealth check.
That's a 16.
Okay. Okay. tossing the rock at one of the onion-shaped shell-like things, it gives a tink before falling off and hitting the dirt, and that shell begins to move as 5 pseudopods begin to emerge from the front, waving slowly in the air as the head of the flail snail begins to emerge.
I very calmly and slowly take my rope out of my backpack. I set one end in front of me and I start uncoiling it as I back up towards the entrance of the cave.
We're moving.
Yes, I'm moving.
Okay. The flail snail begins to turn towards you as you take a step.
I stop moving. I'm doing a lot right now.
Yeah, you are.
Is it possible for me to pull out a ball bearing and when I take a step, throw it at the wall?
It is possible, yes.
I want
Go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand.
That is a 14.
14? Okay. You take a step and toss a ball bearing. Whereabouts in the room are you tossing it?
Literally anywhere. Anywhere that's
Okay.
not, preferably on the opposite side of it.
Are you trying to hit wall or are you trying to hit ground?
Ground.
Okay. You toss it and have it go onto the other side of the snail as you take the step. That one continues to move towards you, but the other shell begins to move and begins to aim itself towards where the ball bearing landed. The one that's moving towards you is not moving fast at all. It
What?
is
Snail is slow?
not. Let me rephrase that. It is.
No, don't rephrase it.
does-
I was happy with it.
It does not seem to be aggressively moving towards you. It seems more curious than anything.
I back up. I continue to back up and stay
Okay.
calm and slow.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me. I believe this would be another stealth check.
Is it?
Come on. 19.
19. Okay. The snail stops moving towards you as you make sure to pick your footing amongst more solid looking rocks, picking your feet up off of the loose sand. You begin to make your way out. You're definitely moving slowly, but it doesn't seem to be moving towards you with the same curiosity anymore.
Is it apparent to the rest of us that it's attracted to the sound?
You guys aren't there.
How far ahead of us is he?
He's a good ways into the tunnel. You guys are still.
Right. We never. Caught up. I'm sorry, we never caught up.
Yeah.
With him.
We noticed the same echoey effect when we entered the tunnel.
Yeah.
Of the ball bearing.
No, the sound effects are definitely more echoey in here. But you guys are not stealthing, so it's a little less prominent.
Okay.
A minute or so as you guys try to make your way through the cave. Darian, what are you using as a light source?
I am seeing through Najila. She's perched on my shoulder.
Okay. That'll also work. You guys continued to move through the cave and turning one corner, you see Rin very carefully and gingerly picking his footsteps backwards with a coil of rope in his hands.
Seeing his footwork, Darian instantly puts his hand out to his left, like to keep anyone from moving.
Mm-hmm.
And then with his right hand is holding his finger to his lip, and then he starts like peering a little bit further around the corner, and watching him.
Okay. Rin is slowly backing up towards you guys. I'd say with your passive perception, Rin, you did hear are footsteps quietly, but still footsteps coming down the tunnel towards you.
I do my owl head turn thing and just fucking glare at them. Why the
It
fuck
is
did you follow me?
Very disconcerting.
incredibly disconcerting.
Even Darian's unnerved, even though he uses an owl so frequently.
Yes, but he's also very familiar with tieflings, and there's usually a very big difference between owls and tieflings.
I resent that.
Sorry, I had to decide whether.
Shut up, Jarrus. No one asked you.
Mentally, I had to decide just now whether or not he asked Zephyr if he can do that. The decision
Place
was no.
Darian, time and place.
What's that?
So Rin asked you what you're doing, following him.
Darian just kind of like shrugs his shoulders out, like with his hand up, like perfect example of the "I'll guess I'll die" meme. Like, what did you want me to do? That's how I respond.
Rin points like a disappointed father back at the entrance to the tunnel.
Darian shakes his head no. Darian shakes his head no.
Zephyr and Liberty are now watching these two
mime at each other.
Try to like there is a normally this would be like an alpha male contest, but instead they're just going for who can give off the most dad energy at this point.
No, Rin is not going for dad energy. He is very much exuding a very malevolent sort of presence right now.
And I quote, very much like a disappointed dad.
Yes, at the beginning, when Darian shook his head no, it became a much more, for lack of a better term, evil presence.
Okay.
Hey,
how was your response?
Driver? Where's fuck, I'm forgetting his name. Yurk. Where's Yurk?
He didn't drive you guys.
No, I thought he came with us.
Nope. Just Zephyr.
He gave us the cart.
I'm dumb.
It's okay.
Where's my
no
friend?
one pays attention to me.
I did.
I mean, the rest of us did. It was just him.
Even Zephyr knew Yurk wasn't with us.
I didn't ask Zephyr, did I?
Well, Zephyr is played by the DM. I feel like he gets a pass.
That was the joke.
I know. Anyways, what are you all doing? You're at a stalemate in a cave.
Enjoying the meta knowledge mostly.
I
mean,
Rin stops pointing, and a grin slowly spreads across his face. His head is still backwards the entire time, and he lifts one foot up and he stomps.
Ooh, baby. Okay.
How far are we from him at the moment?
You're like 10, 15 feet.
Fighting the meta knowledge because player did not like the DM's response to that. Not comfortable with that. Reading Rin's very obvious body language, expression, and energy, Liberty is going to softly step backwards, tap Darian and Zephyr on the shoulder, and kind of gesture with her head back toward the cave entrance.
Darian does like a couple like slow double takes, like he looks at her and then like peers at him because he's mentally stuck between like okay but also like what it, like he's not entirely grasping what's going on with Rin. But it doesn't look particularly good, so it definitely wins out that he's gonna slowly head back with her, but he's walking backwards at this point.
If he's walking backwards, which way is the owl head pointing?
It's well, considering that I'm seeing through her, it's her head that's pivoting back and forth.
Okay, so she's going back and forth so that you can watch Rin and also look back the way you're going.
No, you can only look through one. You can only look through your familiar's eyes or your own. You can't do both.
Yes, but she's trying to watch Rin, but then also double check the direction you're going. So she's going
No,
back and forth with
I
this.
see. I see. I'm sorry. No, the double taking was referring to looking at Rin and then looking at you, who is like
Yeah.
more or less pulling Dorian. Like, come on, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
When we're actually walking out, he's walking backwards and he's not looking where he's going. He's watching Rin because that's fucking bizarre.
Is that the way the owl is facing too?
Yes, because that's how I'm seeing him. Sorry, I thought I.
Anyways, what are you guys doing? You're backing out.
Slowly backing out of the tunnel. Liberty's
So,
like walking. She's not straight up walking back. She's not walking backwards. She's kind of sideways so that she can see where we're going, but also keep an eye on Rin to make sure he doesn't not Rin, sorry, Darian, so that he doesn't stumble and since he's too busy watching Rin.
so Rin,
Yes.
your rope is 50 feet.
Yep.
You. How much rope are you letting out?
As much of it as I have.
Okay. You get 50 feet away from the room that you left the other end in before you've made it to the end of your rope.
Literally, and
I was going to say it's really weird to hear that in a literal sense. Like it's weird because it's never.
Are you? What's your plan here?
I have 2 ropes, so I start letting out the second one. I'm doing
Okay.
I'm doing a Theseus in the labyrinth.
Minotaur's Labyrinth, yeah.
Yep. You make your way a little further. I'll say that with all the twists and turns, there's about 30 feet away from the cave entrance that you're not able to do, but it's like one turn, so still effective.
Alrighty.
And you've all made it out of the cave.
I would like to do so. Once we start like heading back, Darian, who's still like stubborn, I guess.
What?
No. What?
Darian whispers to. Well, I don't actually have to whisper because it's a mental command. Darian has Najila go back to where Rin was, and she's gonna hang out and watch him, and she's gonna.
Rin's walking out of the cave.
Oh, I thought you were still staying in there with the rope and everything.
No,
He just
I left
walked
enough
out
rope
of.
that I can easily find my way back.
I just remembered that Greek mythology references are not going to be as clear for Kelso.
I thought the rope was from where he had stomped, and then he was continuing down. Not
Yeah, he's
coming
Hansel and
back.
Greteling this.
Right, but I thought he was working his way further.
He's working his way back to the entrance using the rope like Hansel and Gretel with the breadcrumbs.
Right. Okay,
You are
then.
all outside the cave.
Rin, did you find any snails?
I'm trying to decide what Rin would do here. Because it is rare that Rin becomes so pissed off that he begins
Being responsible?
responsible. He's been being responsible. Y'all were the dumbasses that followed the stealth player into a situation that required stealth.
To be fair, Liberty was not told anything, and Rin just disappeared. So she's like,
I don't think Rin really blames Liberty.
Well,
He-
of course
he-
not.
he
He doesn't have
very
beef
much
with
thinks-
Liberty.
Yeah, he very much thinks Darien is at fault.
I feel like the only daughter in a family of all brothers right now. It's fine. We never blame you, princess. It's clearly one of the boys' fault.
In this case, it is. He had all the information.
So
It's true.
he interacted with a snail, and then backed away from it. Had a standoffish interaction with Darien and between the two of them, and then we all left. Is what I'm understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Rin, you go first because
I'm trying.
Just staring expectantly for an explanation.
maybe.
I'm trying to decide what he would do, because either he's going to be furious, or he's going to ignore everyone.
He's been fighting his lizard brain the whole time, so I think it makes sense for him to stand silently for a moment while he decides how exactly he's going to approach this.
No, I agree. That makes sense.
No. He's standing there. He hasn't bothered to change back to his normal sort of tone, so he's still looking sort of very unnatural to compared to his normal look.
Which, is so normal.
And he's standing there, and he just kind of cocks his head at them as he tries to decide what to do.
Also, is Darien put off by that? Because that's not like a normal tiefling thing. Like
It's definitely not a normal tiefling thing.
They change colors when they're angry. Did he at least turn his body around so he's not still in owl mode?
Yes, he's not. He doesn't look like an owl anymore.
Okay. Because that was very disconcerting.
Okay, I know my response because I can at least be more broader with this when I ask, what is your deal?
Did you ask that in character?
That is in character, which is great phrasing because that could refer to the color change, the pivoting, and also what is your problem?
You just gestured to all of me.
Rin walks very slowly and almost insectile-like in how precise he's stepping towards Darien.
Liberty
Darien's
is going
stance has definitely
to...
changed. Darien is definitely taking a more PvP stance, or at least preparing to.
Is subtly moving in between them. Not completely blocking their view, but just angling herself enough that they'd at least have to reach across her to attack each other. Assuming they don't start using range spells.
A better question might be, what is wrong with you? You claim to be a wizard. Tell me, that's usually a profession that comes with some modicum of intelligence. And yet, once again, you have willfully demonstrated that you have none.
If I
Are you
may
happy
just-
to throw the lives of your party members away so carelessly?
You walked down a tunnel. We walked down the tunnel. And then
Gentlemen, if I may,
You may not.
I have to admit, I hate that his vocabulary is so much more diverse than mine. Does not
you
help
have
my
to just
situation.
call Forge on the weekdays and be like, okay, we just need to have conversations so I can get more broader vocabulary.
No, okay, so the thing is, like, I know all of these words. Like, I know modicum, I know these, everything he said. It's just, it's not something I use in my dialogue, so it's not, like, a thought that, that occurs to me.
You just need to talk to Forge more and get into the practice of it. You're used to talking to different kinds of people.
No, absolutely.
Using that
that's fair.
language around other people will make them more judgy of you, I suspect.
I'm used to having to dumb down what I say. Yes, I've grown
You
up
work
with
in
that.
retail, so we understand.
Yeah, that too.
Anyway,
Now, how clear must I be? I assume that is your familiar, yes?
Yes.
Which means that you can see and hear through it. Which means that you knew exactly what was going on when you went down that tunnel. Which means that you then saw, by obvious deduction, that I was being quiet and trying to approach stealthily. Tell me, Darian, do you have any experience in stealth training? Much practice with breaking and entering, or approaching an enemy unawares?
The
Because
last
based
one.
on the fact that I heard you, and they don't have ears and yet still heard me, I suspect that you probably aren't the stealthiest bastard anywhere.
I saw a clearing. I saw you walking down a tunnel. The rest of that was not apparent until we were at the cave opening.
And yet, when I pointed for you all to turn around, you decided to play dominance games and stand there stubbornly, like a fool. Putting your quote-unquote adopted son, who clearly you don't care much about, at risk, our party member at risk, and me at risk. Now, you may be suicidal, and that's just fine with me. Your presence is doing me no good. But I will not let you put the others' lives in danger so needlessly.
that comment was uncalled for.
We were
And-
down there to help.
You failed miserably.
I believe we all failed to communicate a proper plan before we started acting.
I wonder why that is. Almost like one of them just decided to go off on his own without a single word.
Darian, you may be used to trusting others and being trusted. For some, it does not come so easy. But if we're going to work together, perhaps we need to go beyond our usual instincts to be extra communicative toward party members who may not be able to read our minds or may not have the same experiences and the same ideas for plans.
I'll agree with your point. I would not just find myself as trusting. I trust you. Others, not so much.
Me, Rin does not seem to hate me. I trust Rin's expertise when it comes to moving about quietly, and he seems to be a very proficient scout. So perhaps, Rin, if you would at least give us an idea of what you are planning to do, we would be better at staying out of your way. What may seem obvious to you is not always obvious to those of us with very different backgrounds.
Do you intend to do this all by yourself? Do you intend to attack and kill one of these slugs? Extract the shell and bring it back single-handed.
I have a feeling he's muted.
No, I'm not muted. I'm trying. I am.
Standoffish dialogue is not always on the spot. I get that.
No. You don't understand. Kyle. My response to getting angry is to go dead silent and not say a fucking word. So the problem is, I put myself in Rin's headspace, so I'm angry, which means that I'm quiet.
No, I totally get that. I totally get that. I could not tell you how close I was to smiting your ass.
There's a reason why Liberty is standing in between you two.
I did learn lightning bolts. Trust me, you don't want to stand where you're standing.
Oh,
Bad
I
news,
very
buddy.
much do.
I learned Misty Step. You're never safe. Rin straightens up, and his face just goes blank, like there, like mask like. There's no emotion, and he just steps to the side of the cave and gestures in an after you sort of motion.
Darian folds his arms and kind of stares at him. It's like, well, I agree with your point. I would not want you behind me on any given day.
Rin doesn't move.
Liberty is quietly whispering prayers under her breath.
She is filled with concern.
She can read the energy.
Are you kidding me? A dog could read the energy.
There may or may not be specific references to grant me patience for men or males.
Mm.
You hear a loud fuck sound from behind you, and Zephyr has planted his axe in one of the barrels that holds a lot of other tools. It is just kind of slumped up against it in a very dejected body language.
He's like, great, this is just getting more boring while the adults fight. So, it would seem the question is,
Nope.
do we want...
Darian's moving. Darian's already walking inside. Darian is
Alright.
headed inside.
Right?
Liberty will follow him, if nothing else, to make sure he doesn't die.
How far behind is Rin following?
I'm trying to decide if he does.
Is Zephyr, like, right behind us? Like,
I think if Zephyr went behind them, then Rin would follow Zephyr.
Zephyr does look up at you, Rin, before just kind of spitting in the dirt, standing back up, unplanting his axe, throwing it over his shoulder, kind of giving a shrug. He is a stubborn bastard sometimes.
aw, that's where Zephyr gets it.
Trust me.
I see.
And then
Trust me, I found him like that.
then Zephyr will follow.
As we get to the cave entrance, Liberty's going to very softly whisper, do you think it is wiser to approach the beast in its nest, or to try to lure it out of the tunnel?
I'll let you know when we get there.
Alright.
A couple seconds go by, and Darian whispers back, keep him away from me, or I will kill him.
I will do my best, if you will promise to at least attempt some restraint for my sake and for Zephyr's.
I think I have proven over the last week that I am capable of so much.
Thank you.
And Darian is trudging forward, and until he gets within, like, I don't know, 60 feet or so of where that opening was, he is not being quiet. He is just walking.
How many feet did you say?
Like 60?
Okay. You've been able to follow the rope up to this point, and are just about at the transition between the two.
Okay. Darian kind of crooks his head over to Najila. Well, I guess I'm already seeing through her anyway. Darian like shrugs the one shoulder slightly, like very lightly, and Najila flies out, and she's gonna go and like look around, get a much more clear view of the area.
You're gonna have her fly in.
Yeah.
Okay. Flying in, you look around, and the shiny pillars, the shells, I'll just say shells at this point because we know what they are,
Yeah.
have moved. One of them is by the entrance that that Najila is coming in, and the other is at a different center of the room. But neither of them are moving around. Both of them are just dormant in their shells.
There are still two. One's much closer to the entrance now. The other one's a bit a ways away. How do you want to do this, Liberty? Should we just lure one out?
So sorry. Tell me where their placement is again.
One of them's by the entrance. The other is pretty much center of the room.
Probably better to focus on the one closer to the entrance.
Okay.
I would rather fight one, not two, so if we can lure one of them out by itself, that would be preferable.
DM, do we know if they're sensitive to light at all? If they see?
You guys don't know.
Okay.
None of you guys did research other than Rin, and
Okay.
he's in the back of the group.
Right. He said earlier that he shared some information. I didn't know if he shared everything or not.
I shared that they were resistant to fire.
Okay. Verbal, somatic, material. Okay. Darian's gonna like grind his foot into the ground, like not step on the ground, but like pivot to see if that makes enough sound.
You hear the sand crunching underneath your foot, but I assume Najila is still in the room.
She's just kind of hovering where she is, yeah, towards the.
There is no change.
No, I'm not gonna do that. Darian takes a copper coin and lightly wraps it on the cave wall.
You can hear it from Najila's position, but there is no change.
Okay. Darian, who is definitely on edge with recent events, and he takes the coin and he throws it at the nearest one.
I will say that they're around two bends. You can throw it in their general direction.
Yeah. Okay.
You aren't actually able to see into the room at the moment.
Oh, okay. Actually, spells.
You could have Najila fly by and just kind of tap it.
Yeah.
Or drop a rock on it.
Can I have her drop a rock on it? That'd be kind of funny.
Sure. I'd say with everything that's going on in this room, there's definitely a rock small enough to pick up and for Najila to drop on top of one of them.
She finds like a pebble and like pokes at it with her beak to like nudge it. Picks it up with her talon, flies over and just drops it right over her head.
Okay, it goes ka-tink, ka-tink, tink. bouncing off the shell and then landing in the dirt. Uh, there is a slight shift in the shell, but none of the flails or pseudopods come out.
Okay.
It's so sleepy.
That's the thing. It's because I mean, sound. Sound is fun. Trying to find the right decibel that'll attract one and not the other, or just attacking the one works too.
Fireball.
No, I have fireball prepared. That's not helpful though. No.
It's the solution to every
Did
wizard
no one
problem.
listen to it's resistant to fire?
Again,
But
not helpful. I don't
but
have a.
have you watched the video?
It's my
Fireball answer to everything.
fireball. No, I don't have a touch spell that I wanted prepared.
A cantrip.
We have flail stocks. I don't want to do that. Yeah. Well, apparently prestidigitation can't make sound, which I thought it could. I'm just gonna have Najila fly a little bit closer to the entrance and then just hoot like progressively louder until at least just the first one starts moving.
Najila hoots a couple times. Gets pretty loud even. Neither of them move.
It's not. I don't think it's sound. If it's not sound, smell?
Really messed with snails of any variety before. I would assume if they do not have ears, it would depend on if they have eyes or I don't know, maybe feeling the ground move.
Maybe. Najila's gonna start hopping on the ground in front of it.
Okay. It does get a reaction. The shell does move. And one pseudopod, then another, and another does come out until it is fully out of its shell.
Coming out of my shirt.
Najila
But
looks up at it and starts hopping backwards.
as Najila starts hopping backwards, it doesn't seem to see her as a threat and goes back into its shell.
For crying out loud. Darian's going to start slowly making his way down the hall.
Okay. Roll me a stealth check.
Alright, I get a bonus of... Okay. Total of 15.
Total of 15. Okay.
18 for me.
Okay. Rin, are you following?
He would have to walk past me, yeah?
No, you're in the back.
Yeah.
We're moving toward the snail.
Oh, you're moving towards the snail.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a stealth as well.
Mm-hmm. 26.
DM is a copper piece about the size of a penny. Like what size is it about?
It's a little bigger than a penny. It's probably about the size of a quarter.
Okay. That's still close enough. Moving there, you said there were 2 bends?
Yes, there are 2 bends.
Okay. How far have I made it then?
You've made it around the first bend.
Okay.
How far are you going?
I'm gonna see if I can sneak up to like the corner of like the second bend to where I can barely see the first one.
Okay.
I'm going to to take the copper piece and I'm going to cast light on it, and then like keep it cupped in my hand with like just a sliver of light coming out.
Okay.
And I'm gonna pull my hands out. And I'm gonna like kind of point at it just to see if it gets a reaction.
It does begin to move.
Okay, there's progress. um, Daria,
It begins to extend out of its shell and begins to start moving around the corner towards you.
He's a cat with the laser light thing.
we're gonna find out.
The
Sorry.
other one also begins to move.
Oh shit, that is really sensitive then. Fuck.
I mean, how fast are they moving? We might be able
Not
to fight one
fast
before
at
the-
all.
We might be able to fight the one before the other one even catches up.
They're both going like 5 feet every 2 rounds.
Ooh.
We will be here all night if we do this.
They're obviously not in a hurry.
Yeah.
And how far apart are they again?
There's probably like 20 feet in between them.
Darian's going to point the small tunnel peephole of light, like at the wall next to him, like just behind the corner, and let
Okay.
a little bit more light to see if it's like if it's direct light or if it like can see it at all. Well, I guess.
Okay,
it would see it, but yeah.
It does move a bit closer to you again. Again, not in a hurry. But there's no change.
Okay. Excuse me. It definitely reacts to the light, but both of them are reacting to the light. Do we want to try and deal with what's outside?
I mean, it depends on how fast they are moving and how close they are together.
I
If it
feel
fails,
like 17
Go ahead.
to, I don't know, 20 feet. They are moving really, really slow. Maybe we should just go for it.
we could probably kill the first one before the second catches up.
These things are huge, though. I don't know how quickly we can kill one.
How long did it take us to kill the bullet?
Not a minute, I suppose.
It is still moving towards you and is about 15 feet away.
How wide are the cave tunnels?
Wide enough to get the snails through.
Okay. Not enough to like have ample room around it.
No.
Okay. Let's see. It's about how far? 15 from the like opening?
No, from us.
15
We're-
feet from you.
Okay, so it's already making its way towards into the tunnel.
Yeah, but we're still like 80 feet from the tunnel's entrance.
Right. Okay. How much is my range on this? 90. 38. 1d10, 1d12. Okay. Yeah, we'll just slowly lure them out. At least further out of the tunnel a bit. I would like to see if
So you're going to start moving?
I'm gonna start moving backwards. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's try.
As you take a step, the snail stops.
There is absolutely a confused expression on his face.
What happened? What's wrong? Can I see the snail at this point, or is he still only able to see it through the owl?
No, he is seeing it from his position, technically. You were, however, 5 feet behind him, and so just on the other side of the curve.
Okay.
I moved and it stopped.
It seems to be. It has lowered its head, and the flails are kind of poking around at the dirt in front of it.
It Darian waits a second and it occurs to him, and Darian moves. I keep forgetting. I'm sorry. How far is it from me?
15 feet.
Darian's gonna move like 7 feet forward, like split the difference.
Forward?
Yeah, towards it.
Okay.
And then
Uh,
Darian's gonna extend one of his hands, the one that's not containing the coin.
I do believe that is going to put us into initiative.
Woohoo!
Should have known that fighting snails would make the preparation to initiative so long.
I was going to say, this is the longest encounter we've ever had.
Yep.
The 4.5 hour mark, we're finally rolling initiative.
There was RP involved.
Our
it's
mission
fine.
we got like 20 minutes in.
Okay. Let me see what I can do here. Okay. So,
I forgot to tap somebody for advantage on their initiative rolls.
What's that?
Oh, I have a thing where I can give someone advantage on their next initiative roll, and it is not super time sensitive, so I could have done that earlier and I forgot.
Oh.
okay. So, basically, come on. There we go. That should give us the best angle. All right. Can you guys all see that?
Oh. I
Yeah.
didn't realize. My mistake.
Oh my god, y'all been putting so many fucking memes in this.
Snail in the front, Snail in the back. Unfortunately, I don't have Snail, so I have Bertrand and Trinket. You are over here, Darian.
Okay.
And the rest of them are behind you.
Okay.
Everyone roll initiative.